Jagrative, Jayamastras. There's some certain fundamental understandings about yourself that once you get it, the path becomes much, much simpler, much easier. Otherwise it's very complicated and you stay very lost. So one is the word identification. It's very deep, but once you get it, it changes everything. For example, you walk in to buy a car. You don't own the car yet. There's lots of cars in the showroom. People are sitting in the cars, sitting on the cars. None of your business. You walk in and you sign a piece of paper, and all of a sudden your attitude changes completely. Get out of my car. Why are you sitting in my car? That's my car. You think that's very simple. It's very, very deep. So what has happened? Nothing's happened in the world, in the real world. The atoms are all the same. Everything's the same. People are the same. The cars are the same. Everything's the same. You have allowed yourself to become identified with an external object. That's what the I, me, mine stuff is. That's not your car. That's no more your car than it was before you signed the piece of paper. You didn't make it. You don't know how to make it. You didn't make the metal. You didn't do this. You don't know anything more about that car. That car is no more yours than it was a moment ago. But the ego, but I don't want to talk about it from the point of ego. I want to talk about it from the point of consciousness. That's the essence of understanding identification. You're a conscious being. You know that. What does that mean? It means if I ask you, are you in there, you say yes. Yeah, that's very simple. All right? We don't have to start defining things. You know you're in there. You don't need to prove it. Nothing. It's just something you know. Why? Because you're a conscious being. If you weren't conscious, not only would you not know you're in there, you wouldn't be in there. You know, when Moses asked the burning bush, okay, you're sending me down there to talk to the Pharaoh. They have gods. What God should I say? I am that I am. Well, you know that you know. Guess what? It's the same answer. I am that I am means I exist. How do you know I exist? Because I exist. I am that which knows that it knows that it knows. Consciousness is an amazing thing. Consciousness is the most important thing in the whole universe. Why? Everything else in the universe is something you're conscious of. If you hold up your hand and look at it, it's not your hand. It's a hand that you are conscious of. I'm telling you, though I don't want to talk about it, if it were lopped off, you would still be there, very aware that it was gone. So there's two things in the universe: consciousness and object of consciousness. That's as deep as it comes. There is the consciousness, awareness. What's it aware of? An object of consciousness. That which consciousness is aware of. If I remove the object, is the consciousness still there? Where'd my car go? Okay? It's just such a phenomenal thing. You have to separate that which is aware from what it's aware of. How do you separate it? Anything you're aware of can come and go. Consciousness is the one that knows it came and went. If you have that, you have 90% of all spirituality. So you are that consciousness. You don't have to try to be conscious. It's not like I'm trying to meditate, I'm trying to know God. No, those are objects of consciousness. Who's in there? You don't have to try to be in there. You are in there. And sometimes that's the problem. Isn't it? Because objects of consciousness don't stop outside. There's a girl, there's a man, there's a car, there's a tree, oh my God, how many objects of consciousness are there? Very funny. That's outside. Are there objects of consciousness inside? Do you have thoughts? Do they come and go? Are they objects of consciousness? It's an object of consciousness. It's something you're aware of. Have you ever gone, it doesn't matter if you have or not, have you ever gone deep in meditation and come back and said, oh my God, there were no thoughts? How do you know? Ever wake up from sleep and turn to somebody and say, oh my God, I slept so deep there were no dreams? How do you know? This is spirituality. It's real. It's not faith or belief or something like that, right? You are obviously in there. You're having these experiences. Objects of consciousness are things you experience, but you exist independent of whether you're seeing an object of consciousness or not. Do you have emotions? How do you know? How do you know we mean the same thing? Have you ever felt love? Ever felt anger? Ever felt insecurity? Ever felt embarrassment? Somehow we all think we're talking about the same thing, aren't we? Because they're objects of consciousness. Doesn't mean that I feel exactly the same as you when I mean by love or by insecurity or guilt. There are variations just based on the experiences that I've had. Maybe you really got guilty. Maybe I got a little bit guilty. I don't know, but that's what I know. But it's still an object of consciousness. It's just a different degree, all right? Emotions are objects of consciousness. Have you ever felt anger? Have you ever felt love? Are they the same? Does anger feel the same as love? Is it you that's experiencing both? Emotions are objects of consciousness. Thoughts are objects of consciousness. The world and everything in it is an object of consciousness. Wow. Take a breath. You know what that means? Everything's the same. Every emotion is the same. Every emotion is exactly the same. They're all objects of consciousness. That's when the oneness comes in. When you take a step back and you realize it is the same consciousness that is experiencing everything you ever experienced. When you were little, did you experience your toys and mommy and daddy and the blankie? Yes or no? Was it you in there? Same you. You've been in it the whole time. Consciousness, I'm going to say something, you won't understand it till we finish. Consciousness does not change. It's consciousness. What it's conscious of changes. The difference between the most lost, terrible human being that ever lived and an enlightened master is the object of consciousness, not the consciousness. You've heard, even in some traditions, that says the soul cannot get stained. It doesn't take on karma. It doesn't, do you understand that? The self. That's absolutely true. But if you're staring at something that's dark, you feel dark. If you're staring at love, you feel, I'm love. You say that, I'm love. I'm hungry. That's hilarious. Just break it down in the English language. I am hungry. You've just defined what you are. That's what I am, hunger? I'm angry. I'm anger. So what's happening is you are identifying, I'm going back to that, you are identifying with the object of consciousness. When you experience hunger and it's strong enough, your consciousness gets drawn into that and doesn't go elsewhere. When you are filled with anger, your consciousness gets pulled into that. I got lost. God, your words are so beautiful, right? If you just pay attention. Who got lost? In what? Where'd you go? You're just sitting there. I got lost in anger. Your consciousness got distracted. That's another powerful word, distracted. Can consciousness get distracted? Okay, it got distracted by an object of consciousness. It was anger. It was love. It was fear. It was relief. Whatever. All these emotions are things that distract the consciousness to one degree or another. And then what happens is you identify with it. Distraction is the first step. Consciousness is here. Your consciousness is here. I'm pointing back here behind my head. That's where your consciousness is. All right? It's looking down. Please listen to me. It's looking down at your thoughts. It's looking down at your emotions. It's looking down at this world. It doesn't have to. A great being is capable of not. Human beings are not capable of doing that. That's what makes it a human being. It is staring at a human. Are you staring at a human? I don't mean the person next to you. Are you staring at a human? You're staring at your thoughts, you're staring at your emotions, you're staring at the feelings from your body, and you're staring at what your senses are sending in. That makes you so little, it's not even worth talking about. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. All right? But look what you're staring at. Is there more to the universe than you? I wish you actually knew that. It's like you're the center of your universe. Why? Because your thoughts distract you. Your emotions distract you. The feelings from your body distract you, the consciousness. They distract the consciousness and they pull it down to the object. Does the consciousness actually go somewheres? Listen to me. If I stare at that picture so much that I don't see anything else, I'm fixated on the picture, did I leave the chair? Do I have to leave the chair to get lost in that picture? Do I have to leave the chair to get lost in music? Consciousness stays where it is. Things come in and it gets lost in them. It gets lost. I don't really stare at the picture. I've heard that before. What does science tell you? I'm not staring at the picture. I'm not even seeing the picture. Light is bouncing off the picture. My optical nerves, sensors are picking it up, sending the message back. It's rendering itself in my mind, and I'm sitting right where I started, staring at everything from inside my being. You'd have never looked outside 1 second of your entire life. Do you understand that? At least science-wise. That's why you have senses. They're sensors, like a computer sensors. They can pick up some visual, they can pick up sound, they pick up things. Why do you need them? Because you're not out here. Are you? You're in here. And you've never not been in here. Period. The entire time you're in here. It comes in to you. You don't go out to it. You're getting very quiet, right? All I'm asking is, of course that's not your experience, but is it the truth? Is it not everything science has taught you? Light bounces off of molecules that are dense enough so that the light can't pass through them. Are all molecules dense enough? Well, I don't know. There's air here. It has oxygen and hydrogen and different things in it. I don't see it because light doesn't bounce off of it. Light goes through it. It's transparent. Light goes through it. But you guys, where did you come from? You guys are heavy. Dense. So light bounces off of you. It doesn't bounce off next to her. It bounces off exactly where her hair and her face, and right or wrong. Okay, so the light that bounces off is what I get. It comes back into me, stimulates my optical sensors and nerves, passes it back to me. Now I see an object. Why? Because the light didn't bounce off of what's next to her. It just bounced off her, so I see her shape. So what? That's fascinating. That's amazing. That's beautiful. It's wonderful. No, it's not. No, it's not. Why? Because I'm in here, it comes back into me, and somehow I identify with it. That's my wife. That's my enemy. That's somebody I like. That's somebody I don't like. No, it's not. It's light bouncing off of objects coming into your head. How many of you have ever seen a periodic table? You don't have to be in science. I never took a chemistry course in my life, but I have a periodic table sitting in my den. Why? Every single thing you're looking at is one of those things. There's nothing else you've ever looked at than one of those 96 or 98 natural atoms, and they just put themselves together, and then light bounces off you. Oh, I like it. I used to do this when I taught a class in college, right? I bring a periodic table. I say, okay, which one of these do you like? Because that's all you're looking at. Show me male and female. Which one of the atoms are male? Which one of the atoms are female? Wake up. So what happens is, and that's those key words, distraction and identification. So what is distraction? Distraction is that your consciousness can be pulled toward an object of consciousness. Can't it? Drop a hammer on your toe, and I wonder where your consciousness will be. Have a thought about something you really, really didn't like in the past. I wonder where your consciousness will be. Have some emotion, loneliness, fear, insecurity, embarrassment. I wonder where your consciousness will be. Does it get distracted? Wow, isn't that beautiful? That's the beginning of understanding who you are. You have to understand what's going on in there. So consciousness doesn't change. It's ever the same. It's just there. It's aware. It's aware of what it's aware of. I am that I am. I know that I know. I am the I am. You've heard that. I am. But I can't stay in the I am. Well, let's stop for a moment. What if you did stay in the I am and did not get distracted? I almost cried. Go study Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. That's the essence. The great beings teach the Yoga Sutras of the essence. It's complicated. I'm not telling you to read it, right? But it's the essence of deep yoga, deep spirituality. It starts with pratyahara, the ability to not get distracted by your senses. That's literally what pratyahara is. That the consciousness is no longer... He's talking about how to get into meditation. That's what it's about, right? So the first step in deep meditation is pratyahara. If you're being distracted by your senses, I guarantee you're not meditating. You're listening, you're seeing what's going on. So the ability for consciousness to not... He calls it withdraw your consciousness from the senses. It's more understandable, because I don't know how to withdraw, to not get distracted by the senses. That's the same thing, isn't it? If you're not distracted by the senses, you withdrew your consciousness from the senses. Are you capable of not getting distracted by your senses? You are so. Have you ever gone to sleep at night? Did the universe go away? There's no noise, there's no sight, there's no anything, nothing. The moon didn't come up, nothing's happening, there's nothing. Can you sleep through things? Oh, so you didn't get distracted by your senses. You're still in there. You're having dreams. Isn't that neat? That's pratyahara. You've withdrawn your consciousness from the senses. Wow, you don't even know how to say the word, and you're doing it already. You do this. You sleep. There are people who sleep so deep you can touch them. They don't wake up. Children, babies do that. They withdrew from the world. Where did they go? They didn't go. They stayed. They stayed in the self. They stayed in the consciousness. We'll talk a little deeper, though. They stayed in the consciousness, and it didn't get pulled down because the senses sent a stimulus. They did not get distracted by their senses. You see parents carrying the baby around, and the baby's just sleeping. It's walking around, and nothing happening, right? And there's noise, you're talking, the baby stays asleep. Does that mean the baby's not conscious? No, it doesn't mean that. By the way, you're never not conscious. You are never not conscious. Never. Can people go into near-death experiences where they actually flatline and all stuff's going on and they almost declare dead and so on, and then they come back and they want to tell you what it was like? I saw this light in a tunnel and I guess you were conscious. You're never not conscious, right? What medicine means by unconscious is you're not conscious of the outside world. Well, you're not conscious of the outside world when you're fast asleep either. And the baby's not conscious of the outside world either. Okay? But it's conscious. You're always conscious. That's who you are. You are consciousness. That's who you are. The question is, what are you conscious of? So, stay with Patanjali. He does a good job. You get distracted by the senses. That doesn't mean you're not consciousness. That doesn't mean you're not still the same being. If you're talking to George and Harry calls you and you turn your head, you're still you. It doesn't matter what you mean distracted by. That's an object of consciousness. Well, what's the next step? Patanjali doesn't stop with pratyahara. He has a thing called dharana. What is it? The ability, really what it means, is the ability to not get distracted by your mind or your emotions, not just by your body. But he talks about being one-pointed concentration. That's what dharana is. One-pointed concentration. Stare at a candle, do a mantra, do something, just one-pointed. In other words, don't be distracted inside either. It's not so complicated stuff, is it? First, don't get distracted by what's coming in from the outside, object of consciousness. Now don't get distracted by what's going on inside. Because if you can keep one-pointed concentration, then thoughts, I used to teach this. A deep meditator, a person who meditates a lot, this is what the mind sounds like to a deep meditator. All right? It doesn't finish because you didn't get distracted by it. Otherwise, it's, what if she doesn't like me? And you're not meditating. So the ability to not get distracted by the inner world, there's an inner world, your thoughts and your emotions, you can then put your consciousness one-pointedly. Like I used to say, what's so holy about it? Staring at a candle? Nothing. It's just holy to not stare at your mind. That's what's holy. It doesn't matter if it's a candle or this or that. It doesn't make any difference. Picture of a guru, doesn't matter. If you one-pointedly can focus your consciousness on something and it not be distracted by the outside world or by the inside world, we could say you're meditating. But Patanjali was very deep. He didn't call that meditation. So pratyahara, ability to withdraw from your senses, is not meditation. All right? The ability to not get distracted by your thoughts and emotions, and for your consciousness to be one-pointedly focused on a mantra, on a candle, on whatever, one-pointed, so it doesn't get distracted by the mind and the emotions. He doesn't call that meditation. Oh, we're in trouble. All right? Then there's the third stage, dhyan. That's meditation. What is that? Now put the one-pointed concentration on consciousness itself. In other words, I was always consciousness, but I was being distracted by the outside world. So now I have a wife and a husband and a friend and an enemy and a car, and I have lots of things, don't I? You don't have anything. You're just sitting in here. You're the purest being that ever was, okay? You're sitting in there distracted by the outside world, aren't you? It pulls your consciousness down into it, and you identify with it. We'll talk about that in a minute. So there. If you're not doing that, now I'm inside, lost in my thoughts and my emotions and whatever. What if I'm not doing that? What if I'm not distracted? I'm going to cry again. If I'm not distracted by the outside world, and I'm not distracted by the inside world, I don't have to then put my consciousness back on consciousness. I didn't leave. I don't have to go anywhere to not stare at the picture. I always was here, but I was projecting my consciousness onto the object of consciousness. Notice I said I was projecting. No, my consciousness was being distracted by it. You get distracted by it. So it pulls your consciousness out. If you are not distracted by the outside world, and you're not distracted by the inside world, you don't have to go back to consciousness. You don't leave. And that's enlightenment. That is the highest state. That's where a great master lives. You are in consciousness, not being drawn out. You're not doing anything. Not doing anything. It's not an act of will. It's an act of won't. You understand that? You're not being distracted. If you can let go of whatever's distracting you, just every time it starts to distract you, like to talk about the mind starting to create a thought, your mind won't do that. I wonder, maybe I should. Why? Because it cares about the rest of the sentence. It's highly distracted. I want to know what was he going to say. A great being couldn't care less what the mind's got to say. It's just a troublemaker. Okay? And so they're able to let go. I teach that. Let go. If you let go of the object, not physically, but you let go of being distracted, the pull into the outside object, you reach pratyahara. You don't have to be distracted and fight to come back. If it starts to pull you out and you let go, but you can't do that because you're very interested. You have to protect yourself or get something. You have motive. You have reason to want to be distracted or not want to be distracted by the outside. So you're struggling with this. A human being struggles with the fact that their consciousness gets distracted. They don't struggle to make it not be distracted. They struggle to get what it got distracted by or avoid what it got distracted by. That's your entire life. What objects do you want to get? And what objects do you want to keep? What objects do you not want to get? And what objects do you not want to keep? And you're out there trying to manipulate the world, yes or no? Not only are you doing that, you're taught to do that. You're taught that that's what it means to have a great life. To get what it is. Well, how do you know what it is you want to be distracted by? Or you want to stay being distracted by? Because your inside world changes based upon what's coming in through your senses. Have you noticed? Has anyone noticed that? That the thoughts and emotions change based upon what's going on outside? Just have her say, I really love you. It just sounds. I really hate you. It sounds. Feels the same, doesn't it? Okay? The inside world changes. You don't care about the outside world. I've told you that before, and you all get silent. Not one of you care one single iota about the outside world. You care about the inside world, because that's where you live, in there, and the outside world affects the inside world. Therefore, you care about the outside world. It's indirect. And if something goes on out there and it makes you feel really bad inside, you can do something about it. Because you don't know how to deal with the inside. Most of you only know how to deal with the inside by changing the outside. I feel scared. I need to hide. I need to get a gun. I need to do something. I need to do something outside that will make it feel better inside. I'm lonely. I need to find somebody. The lonely is inside. But the only way I know how to deal with lonely, the only way I know how to deal with insecurity or something like that, is to change things outside so that then I don't feel that inside. I told you, I started this talk by saying spirituality is about getting to know yourself. Are we getting to know ourselves? But at a very different level than you're generally taught. So you're in there. Yes, it's true. You feel lonely. Yes, it's true. You feel sad. Yes, it's true. You feel depressed. Yes, it's true. You feel. Not I am depressed. Don't ever say that. I feel depression. I am aware that I am looking at a depressed psyche. There, that's how you want to say it. And it's really depressed. How do you know? Because I'm looking at it. And by the way, it lets me know. I don't even have a choice. It's You ever get distracted by depression? Ever get distracted by fear? Ever get distracted by loneliness? It knows how to distract you, doesn't it? So your consciousness gets pulled down into it. And that's what's going on. If it doesn't, that's all we're talking about. If consciousness doesn't get pulled down into this world, into the changes in the world, right? Doesn't mean it doesn't see it, but it doesn't get pulled down into it. If it doesn't get pulled down into the thoughts, get pulled down into human emotions, then what's there now? That's the essence of the greatest discussion of all of creation. What is consciousness? And guess what? That's not the deepest discussion. As you grow, it's going to become not what is consciousness. What is the source of consciousness? Where did consciousness come from? We know where the atoms came from. Now we're down there in quantum physics. We're seeing the quantum field throw off these subatomic particles that make atoms. We know a lot of things, right? And then we know then how they bond together, the laws, covalent bonds, and so on. And it all goes, and then it makes the world. Fine, it's wonderful. That's where the world came from. Wonderful. Came from this field of energy. Wonderful, right? You who sees it, where did you come from? Where does consciousness come from? That's yoga. I tell you, there are people who have said that of all the sciences that were ever created or studied or anything, yoga is the deepest of all. Why? Because it's not studying what you're looking at, it's studying who's looking. Yoga is about consciousness. It's about the source of consciousness. What did the great ones find? Who managed to not get distracted by and were sitting in a seat of consciousness. That's a nice state, the seat of consciousness. You call it the witness. You watch your thoughts. You watch your emotions. You watch the body. But you don't get pulled in. That's what witness consciousness means. What witness consciousness, objective observation, what the great ones taught, means you can be back here, you are conscious, you're aware of your thoughts, but you're not pulled into them. You're aware of your emotion, but you're not pulled into them. They don't distract you enough to pull you out of the seat of consciousness. So you're still here, you're still interacting with the world, but you're not being pulled in. So someone wants to ask Ramakrishna, a fully enlightened being, does an enlightened being, a perfect master, ever feel anger? It shocked me. He said yes, but it's like riding on water. When you ride on water, how long does it last? Does it make any difference that you rode on water? No impression. No past. So yes, the world comes in. There's an inner world too. It just comes in and passes through. It's be here now. That's be here now. Be here now means you're here, and now is coming and going. Right? It's just inside, outside. You're not experiencing them. You're just experiencing them. Don't worry, they'll be next. But not if you get pulled out and get distracted by it. Now you made it you. A car can drive by, and it goes by. You guys are really high, just like Ramakrishna. How many cars have driven by and they just drove by? Did you see them? Sure. Did you have to hold on to them? No. They were like riding on water. They just came in and went through. I've told you once, you are 99.9% enlightened. You are. 99.9% of every single thing that has ever come into your senses passed right through. The trees, the grass, the clouds, the weather, everything just comes and goes through. But that 0.1% has a booger. What's the 0.1%? The part that distracted you. So if a car drives by, they're all going by, but all of a sudden one drove by that looks like blah, 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 who knows? And the next thing you know, for the next 4 hours, you're thinking about that car. It didn't pass through. It got stuck. That is because it distracted you. It distracted your consciousness, pulled you out of the seat of consciousness, and you then did this. Now, that's one level of distraction. I want to make sure you understand the next level is identification. Okay? Distraction, I know you got. Identification means you are staring at it so much and so hard and for so long that you say, that's who I am. I am his wife. I am her husband. I am hungry. I am scared. I am scared. I've always been scared. That's who I am, scared. No. I'm looking at a scared psyche. Right or wrong? Right. That difference is phenomenal. Why? Because it means there's a way out. If I am scared, I have to go out into this world and manipulate it and everybody in it to where I'm not scared anymore. And that's almost impossible. What you basically do is compensate for your fear. You put bars on your windows, you hire a guard, you have guns, you move into a neighborhood where there's police all over the place. You do something, you're still scared. So basically, you didn't do anything. All you did was create an outside situation that compensated for the problem you're having inside. Your consciousness is still attached to, now you're attached to both. You're attached to the inside and the outside. You have identified with the fear enough to make it your life. Okay? You made sure you have really the nicest house in the neighborhood and that the grass is always cut and anything, and you feel proud when you drive home. What did you just do? You said, I want to be better than other people, and I like people to think nicely of me, and I want to make sure that I say things and do things and wear things and smell certain ways and not other ways and everything, because I need people to like me. And now I feel completely secure. I've got the house, I got the husband, I got the wife, I got the kids. Very good. You have now identified with that part of you. It's down there deep, and it's causing your life to be lived the way it's being lived. And so now you're really lost. You were lost enough when you got distracted, but distracted is a short-term thing. Something else could distract you, go to a movie. But this stuff, when you identify with it, you project, what does identify mean? You projected your sense of identity onto the object. You don't know you're in there, you, looking at the object. I am this. Okay? All right. So we were talking about, again, when you're not distracted and you're seated in the witness, eventually it will dawn on you, not thought, just dawn on you, because you're conscious. Where did I come from? Where did this come from? What? The consciousness that's staring at my thoughts. God, if I could ever instill in you that question. You're in there. You're just too busy not being okay in there. And you're too busy out here trying to make it be okay in there. To be able to sit back long enough to realize, gee, I've always been in here. Where did I come from? So the great ones got back to that state long enough, deep enough, to where they identified themselves as the one who's in here. And then you will find, when you reach that state, there's nothing more for you to do. What happens is it starts to pull you up. Just like the distraction pulls you down into it, this consciousness, right? If I take a hot air balloon and it's tethered and it's filled with hot air or helium, and I cut the tethers, what do I need to do to make it go up? Do I need to blow and pedal? No, it goes up. If you untether it, it goes up. If you stop being distracted by what's pulling your consciousness down, it goes up. You don't have to do anything. There's nothing more to do but let go of the anchor, and the ship sails just fine. Well, what did they find when they let go? First, they found that it's very hard to let go of any identification of self. That Christ called it, you must die to be reborn. That's what that means. That's what that means. That's the level of death we're talking about. To where I'm a drop of consciousness staring at me, staring at this human, and now you're not staring at it. It let go enough. And it pulls you up. It pulls you up. And the great ones talk like that. Meher Baba said, I was like a drop of water, drop of consciousness staring at me. And I let go. That's the absolute let go. Dying to be reborn. Right? And let go. And the drop fell into the ocean of consciousness. And now I am that I am. I merged. Christ said, my Father and I are one. They all teach the same thing. But then my Father and I are one. Take a drop of water and drop it into the ocean. Now find it. What did it do? It merged. Do you know that's what the word yoga means? Merger, union. And so they merged. They merged. So once they asked Meher Baba, fully enlightened, totally gone being. But he still could interact in the world, all right? But always back there. They said, I felt what a great being he was. They said, who are you? And he said, I was in the beginning before all else was created. I will be in the end after all else falls away. There was never a time I was not. There will never be a time I will not be. He merged. Guess what? You're in that state right now. Every single one of you are in that state, being distracted by you, pulling you out of that state of oneness, of merger, of nirvana. That's where Buddha went. It's all the same. You are a fully great enlightened being, but your consciousness is being drawn down into your thoughts, your emotions, what's being picked up through your senses. You're being distracted and identifying. So if I talk to you like this, it's sort of like, wow, that's weird. If you tell me that's who I am, it's not who I feel like I am. Of course you don't. Do you identify with your body? Get a little red spot when you're going to the prom. Just, you need a microscope to look at the thing, all right? Do you identify with your body? Oh my God, I'm getting old. It's getting wrinkly. What is? Something you're looking at? No, I don't want to get old. You don't get old. You stare at something that does. You have no age. When you look in the mirror, you consciously see a reflection in the mirror. Have you ever looked in the mirror a year ago? Ever looked in the mirror 10 years ago? Was it you looking? It doesn't age. It doesn't anything. But it has to look through the veil of mind. So it doesn't seem like it's you looking because you're identifying with the mind that it had to look through in order to see the reflection. So what we've gotten to is this is true spirituality. That's all we're talking about. And people talk about, well, what about a technique? Leave me alone about techniques. What's the technique? Stop getting distracted. That is the technique. Well, what about a mantra? Do the mantra so you're distracted by that instead of being distracted by you. What about believing in God? That's a good technique, yes. When your mind is giving you all kinds of trouble, just think about God all the time so you don't get distracted by you. All of these are the same technique. Stop being distracted. Even down lower. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a drug abuser. What do they teach you? You have to be able to withstand the distraction. I don't care what the end bottom line, all the kind of stuff is. If you can't withstand the distraction of wanting to do drugs, wanting to, whatever your addiction is, if you can't withstand the distraction, you're going to do it by definition because you didn't withstand the distraction. So they give you all kinds of techniques. Right? I can't withstand the distraction. Well, call somebody. Call your sponsor. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I'm not talking against it. I'm talking for it because we're not ready to go all the way back to where we are, all right? To reach the state of beauty. You are the greatest being ever walked the face of the earth. You are the greatest being ever walked the face of the earth. But I did terrible things. That your mind having the impression of the things that you did, it makes no difference. None. Remember they got mad at Christ because he said, forgive your sins? Wake up. You in there, you're seated in the greatest, highest state that could possibly be, but you're staring at something that's damaged goods, aren't you? Like, for example, let's just get to, what does it mean to be distracted? There are things you get distracted by, make sense. There are things you get distracted by that make no sense, right? The past. Do any of you get distracted by the past? You just get distracted by something that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, and it will never exist ever again, anything. It's over. That's why I call it the past. It happened yesterday, it happened a year ago, it happened 10 years ago, it happened 20 years ago, it happened when you were 3 years old. I don't care. It's not happening anymore. It's over. It's gone. Not a single atom that exists in the past. You are being distracted by ghosts. Well, if it's not there, why am I distracted by it? Because you stored it inside your mind. Didn't you? Yes. You stored the past inside your mind. Did I store the whole past? No, I stored the part I didn't like. Go talk to Sigmund. He'll teach you all about it. You stored the things you did wrong. You stored the things that hurt you. Right? You did also store some things that you liked, but I'm telling you, the ratio between what you stored if you liked it so much you stored it, that's about 1 to 10,000 to the things that got stored. If somebody doesn't look at you right, you store that. Otherwise, everybody's looking and you don't bother you at all. So therefore, you have all kinds of garbage stored inside your mind about the past. What a waste. What a waste. That's the most ridiculous thing in the whole world. And now you're distracted by it, aren't you? I was in a good mood until you said something. It was okay until I saw that picture. It reminded me of my mother, but it was a man. I don't care. It reminded me of my mother. What else reminds you of your mother? Everything. So you are distracted by the past, aren't you? That's a complete waste. There's absolutely no reason in the world that you are carrying the past inside of you. None. Other than the fact you identified with it. Ready? Who are you? I'm the one who played Dorothy in the 5th grade in Wizard of Oz. And they all clapped. Are we getting it down? All right. Therefore, there are things that you can let go of that cost nothing. What does it cost you? What's the cost-benefit analysis for business people? What's the cost-benefit analysis of the stuff that you stored inside that's bothering you, of keeping it in there or letting it go? There is no benefit to keeping it in there, is there? What benefit do you get? But you say, well, if something bothered me in the past, I want to remember that so I know to have it not happen again. Wow. So now you're going to come into the current moment and you're going to bring this terrible thing from your past in the current moment and you'll try to manipulate the current moment so it never looks like your past. And don't tell me you're not doing that. That's because you identify with this stuff that you held on to. Like psychology says, man is the sum of his learned experiences. There's some depth to that. Your psyche, your inner world of your thoughts and your emotions are the sum of your learned experiences. That's where they came from. Stuff you stored in there. But you are not the sum of your learned experiences. You're the one who looks at the sum of your learned experiences. Aren't you? You're the consciousness. The way out is to be the consciousness. That is the highest thing. But how do I do that? I keep getting distracted by the outside world and by my inside world. So what do I do? How can I get back? Not even get back. I won't talk like that anymore. You don't want to find God. I have to go back to God. No, you have to stop leaving. Do you see the difference? If you look at it that way, I did my job. You're a great being. You're just distracted by something that's not so great. So therefore the technique is obvious. Don't be distracted. And you'll be there. Because you are there. So how do you not be distracted? That's the new book. That's what I teach you. In Living Untethered, I go very deep into that. You're not going to not get distracted by your inside, all the stuff you stored in there. You're too attached to it, right? Your ex-husband. Don't be distracted by what your ex-husband did 5 years ago. You don't know how to. It's too strong. It distracts you. The mistake you made is when you stored the thing. No, the mistake I made when I married him. No. You can't do anything about that. That's when you got divorced, you didn't get divorced. You got divorced outside. You didn't get divorced inside. You kept it in there. So, but I'm telling you, I know you can't deal with that. I mean, I'll go to a therapist for 5 years or something, right? To help you. Now you got one of them. How many you got in there? How many got in there? One divorced husband. You got mommy, daddy, first boyfriend, this, that, the first thing, in a car accident. You got so much stuff in there. It's not even worth talking about. So go work on one. No, yoga doesn't teach that. The deep teachings are as follows. The problem is not the one object you're distracted by. The problem is you're not capable of dealing with distraction. If you're capable of dealing with distraction, then you can deal with all the objects. Well, how do I do that? The same way you learn to play a sport. The same way you learn to play an instrument. You don't know how to start? You don't know how to do it? Fine. Nobody expects you to know how to do it. I don't expect you to know how to not get distracted. It's a natural thing. Something hurts you, you get distracted by it. Something you like, you'll get distracted by it. Okay? Fine. I don't want to lay anything on your head. I want to sit there and say, you've never played the piano, and you want to play the piano. Well, I'll do a mantra. No, I don't think so. What I will do is I will start at the base level of the scales, and I will practice the scales. And I will practice reading Twinkle Twinkle on the note sheet. That's how you do it, isn't it? Same way with a sport. I don't know how to play tennis. I've never touched a tennis racket in my life. I'll hit you the ball. Well, I'll hit it into the net. I guarantee you. That's where it's going. I can't hold my wrist right. I can't get the angles right. I don't know anything. I guess I can't play tennis. Of course you can play tennis, at least better than you're playing now. Doesn't mean you'll be a pro, but you're going to get better. By what? Practice. You practice. That is how you grow spiritually. Well, what do I practice? Every single day of your life. No, I'm sorry. Every single minute of your life, something's bothering you. The weather, the driver in front of you, the cloud reminded you of something. Maybe not every minute, but certainly every hour, I'll guarantee you. Sorry, I'll be nice to you. Things bother you. There's a mosquito. There's this, there's that. There's a piece of dirt. There's that thing. There's a little red spot on my chin. Is that a red spot? That's where you practice. That's where you practice. Not with the big stuff. You practice just like an instrument, just like a sport. Here's your sport. Being able to handle what just happened. Not what daddy did and not what mommy did and not what the boyfriend did and the husband did. No, don't worry about that right now. I want to know, can you handle what just unfolded in front of you? Well, I called out to Sally. She's a friend of mine. Sally, hey. She didn't say hello back. What did I do? I don't know what I did. I can't think about it. I'm trying. Oh, did you think George told her that I said that thing about her? Oh, I hope not. Should I call her and apologize? No, maybe he didn't tell her and then I'm bringing it up. Have I exaggerated? No. Okay. She had the earbuds in. She didn't hear you. She was lost in her thoughts. You can't handle it. I told you once, there's 8.3 billion people on the planet Earth. They didn't say hello either. You can't handle one person for one moment didn't say hello. Or she said hello like this. Yeah, hello. Oh, no, that doesn't count. Having trouble handling things? Okay, practice with the simple things. I beg you. It matters. It matters. No, I don't need to practice tennis. Yeah, you do. It matters. It matters that you can go into this world. What you do is you wake up in the morning. If you meditate, fine, I don't care. But you wake up in the morning and you do this. I am going to go through this day and handle whatever happens. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. No. I'm going to handle what happens. All right? You don't stand a chance. Do you understand that? You don't stand a chance. Isn't that embarrassing? I'm going to go through the day and handle the weather. You probably don't stand a chance. It's hot, it's raining, oh, my hair is frizzy, damn, why does that have to be so humid? What are you doing? You can't handle anything? That's what you're going to see. Start practicing. It's by practicing handling these little things. How do I handle it? Okay, it's raining. Well, I don't want to... Hey, hello. It has nothing to do with you. Yeah, it does. It's my day off. No, it is not raining because it's your day off. It's raining. And rain is a good thing. Rain is nice. I told you. On Venus, I used to say it rains hydrochloric acid. It rains sulfuric acid. Somebody wrote me and said it's not hydrochloric, it's sulfuric. On Venus, it rains sulfuric acid. Here it rains water. And you can't handle it. Right? There. Start right there. I beg you. That's like practicing tennis. It's like practicing your scales. So when it starts to say, oh, it's raining, I don't need to... Be conscious and say, can I handle this? Of course I can handle it. I just don't bother. So I'm going to bother. So then think something else. Do a mantra. Breathe. Say positive thinking. How wonderful rain is. What the world will be like without rain. What would the world be like without rain? Or think about the farmer who needs the rain. It's not his birthday. Okay? All right? And you do the same thing with the driver in front of you. Not one of you can handle the driver in front of you. Nice blinker, buddy. Or you're driving in a rush, 10 miles an hour below the speed limit, the driver in front of you is going. How you doing? Have any of you ever talked to the driver in front of you? Newsflash, they don't hear you. All right? Wake up. The cost-benefit analysis of being bothered by the driver in front of you is ridiculous. It's 100% cost, no benefit. Therefore, that's ridiculous. Who would make a decision, 100% cost, zero benefit? You do it all the time. Mindfulness, waking up, it means pay attention, and with the small stuff, just start with the small stuff. Make it a game. And guess what will happen? By learning to handle a discomfort, which is meaningless, all of a sudden you can handle that level of discomfort on everything. So somebody doesn't say hello, you start to feel embarrassed or rejected, right? Say, I can handle it. The best mantra for the Western world is, I can handle this. I can handle this. What if that was going on inside your head all the time? I can handle this. I can handle it. Oh, wow, I love it. All right? Please do it. I can handle this. It's hot. I can handle this. Oh my God, he didn't say hello. I can handle this. And then just let go. Let go. And you won't be distracted. And you learn to do that. What do you see what happens to your meditations? What do you see what happens to your life? People write me from all over the world. You changed my life. I didn't do any such a thing. I didn't do anything. You did. If you can handle little things, the next thing you can handle a bigger thing and a bigger thing. And when it's all said and done, some people think by handling it means I won't do anything. That doesn't mean that. It means you're centered enough to make a reasonable decision to interact with the problem that's happening outside in a way that is optimal. So being able to handle something doesn't mean you don't deal with it. It means, I can handle that. Okay, what should I do? Clarity, centered. Your actions are dharmic then. All right, I have to stop. I don't want to. Do you understand? Do you understand the relationship between distraction and identification and working on not being distracted? Untethering. That's what it means. You let go. All right. Thank you for listening. Jagrata.